Hi friends, this is Chef Ramu Butler. Well, today I'm going to take you through a small session regarding the future foods. It is that what we are going to eat in the next 20 to 25 years. But for the kind of population which is growing at present, we would see somewhere close to around 8 to 8.5 billion in the next 20 to 25 years. It is alarmingly growing. The population is so highly growing that none of the country would be able to feed this kind of population. So we have to find some sort of changes how we are going to feed so many people in the coming days. The climatic changes, the urbanization, the resources like space, cultivation, water, it is very hard to find these days. Earth has lost all its facility. How do we grow then these vegetables and how do we produce the livestock? It is really a very, very challenging task for the future world. We all need to find a solution how we are going to feed this population. Well, the closely knit community in our fraternity, like the genetic engineers, the farmers, the chefs, they are working hand in hand to find a solution for the future population. Well, the genetics engineers are really working hard so that they can find solutions and come out and give it to the farmers so they can cultivate something which is going to be really useful for the future generations. Well, by telling all this, I would take you through some of the small topics, which is actually predicted, in fact, would be the future foods, and also there are some food which is already come into the market. Well, there are some small things, like I would say the first one, like nose to tail movement. Well, it's not nothing new for us, it's been there. See, nose to tail movement is nothing but, anything you take off a livestock or you take off a vegetable or you take off any plants, it means we eat from the nose to tail. It's from the top to bottom, everything is consumed. A simple examples I would say, like you take a coriander. The coriander leaf, we throw the roots, but it is not supposed to be thrown. It is supposed to be consumed. The entire, like you take a Thai food, the roots are used more than the leaves. Well, in India we do the opposite, but in the days to come things will definitely change. We will tam ourselves in such a way so that we eat the entire top to bottom of the vegetable or fruit, or it might be a livestock. Well, this is going to be one of the moment which is already there, plus which is going to come in future as well. Well, the next thing, we will be morely dependent upon the indoor horticulture. Indoor horticulture is nothing but growing plants or vegetables without soil. How without soil? You would have heard about hydroponics, aeroponics. There are a lot of technologies which has come up in our country like India. There are so many places, like you take in Hyderabad, you take in Bangalore, you take in I heard somewhere near even in Punjab, there are places where they started this hydroponics and aeroponics techniques. It's an indoor horticulture done without soil. It is very simple that the nutrients are dissolved in the water and which is hit on the root so that the plant grows successfully, and for this they don't require a huge land. There is no soil involvement. So whatever the nutrient present in the soil is directly hit to the root and the plant grows. Well, this is a hydroponics method, what I was telling. Well, the hydroponics is the water with nutrient which touches the root and the plant grows and it gives out the vegetable, fruits, whatever it is. Well, the aeroponics is even the next level, wherein even the water is not used. It is used as a mist. The cool steam which is generated with all the nutrients, it's hit on the roots of the plant, so the plant gives out the fruits and vegetables. So this is the difference between hydroponics and aeroponics. Hydroponics is nutrients with water and aeroponics is nutrients with air mist. Well, this is another technique which is going to be in the future, and already it is in the market as well. Well, the next thing what we would see is the purple bread movement. You would be wondering, what is this purple bread? Well, you would have seen a lot of videos which was going about the purple color cauliflower, purple color potatoes and those things. Yes, it is going to be. Professor Zua from University of Singapore, he has been working hard on this and he has really created a lot of this kind of foods which we can eat, and This is the best part is the anything of this purple has lot of anthocyanins. It is present in the black grapes, it's present in the grapes, it is in the blueberry, it is in the sweet potato. Now they're taking this anthocyanins from all this purple fruits and vegetables, and they're doing a genetic modification so that they can grow in other vegetables also, and it's already in the process which is happening. Why this? It is very simple, because white things, any of white other than the milk, white, for example, a white breads, you take up a white bread, it digests so fast that it can spike up the blood sugar level. So this is the reason why the anthocyanins are incorporated into that, so that the digestive system slows down and it takes time for digestion, wherein we control the blood sugar. Automatically metabolism controls the blood sugar level. It helps in fighting the cancer, obesity, and so many other things. It slows down the digestion system by 20%, which is really, really helpful for us. And the next one, what I would like to say is the Soylent. It's a kind of on-the-go food. It has come in bottles. We know what our body requires. What is the kind of nutrients what require. So the Soylent is nothing but it is a brand, and Hue. This is also another brand, but it is something like a Xerox. When you talk about Xerox, we know all it's called photocopies. Same like the Soylent was the company which introduced this kind of drink, which is bottle, which has all the balanced nutrients under one small bottle. It may be 250 ml or it can be half a liter. All the nutrients is put into the bottle and it comes out as a nutrient drink. So once you take this nutrient drink, it fills your stomach and you get all the nutrients what is required. It's a combinations are very different. They use a lot of this soya plus sunflower oil plus vitamins and different proteins. This is the Soylent. Like you take a Huel. Huel is again a kind of drink, but the only difference between Soylent and Huel is Soylent is from US, Huel is from UK. This is the only difference. Both are different brands, and both are already pre-incorporated milk, which comes in a form of a bottle. And in the Huel, if you see, it comes from the brown rice, peanut protein, and from flax seeds. Huel is made of all these three. Whereas the Soylent is made with soya, sunflower oil, vitamins and proteins. Well, this is another trend which is picking up in the market, which we'll be seeing as a predominant food in future. Well, the next one, which is very, very important and which is going to replace most of our vegetable, is sea vegetables. You must be wondering, what is the sea vegetable? Yes, algae is going to be the superfood of the future. Algae, you would have heard of the spirulina, chlorella. These are all the things which we use in our industry. Even now it has started coming into the industry gradually, but it is not that much known in our India. But a country like Netherlands, and you go take off Israel and those countries, they have already started selling out in the market. Algae is going to be the future food of world. It has been commercially formed in Netherlands. This is going to be really, really a boon for our future generation, because it has a lot of nutrients which is required for our body. So it is very abundant. It is easily available in the ocean. One can do it at home if sunlight is there. Water is required. So this is becoming a very big trend, and people are exploring. They've started doing ocean farming. It's called the mariculture, wherein the seaweed is floated like in the top of the ocean, and which has been taken over by people, and which is given enough water supply and sunlight so that they can culture this and they can give it in the commercial market. Well, one more advanced one is the Memo Garden, which is in Italy. They grow vegetables under the sea because seawater contains 80% of all the nutrients. The only thing required is the sunlight. So a shallow bed is used for this growing vegetables, and it is called the Memo Garden. It's in Italy. Well, the next one is, of course, you would have seen the WhatsApp. You would have seen a lot of things which you can see that water bubble, which is called the Oho. It is like a water bubble, or even now they started producing as a water bottle, wherein the water will be in a form of a small ball, and which is coated with a gelatinous substance, but the membrane is nothing but it is coated with algae. So this algae is coated with that, and which will be the future water. We won't find it in cans, we won't find it in bottles, we will find it algae bottles which can be directly consumed, or we'll find it as a hole, like a small ball. So this is going to be another thing which is going to be in the future. And the most important thing is there is going to be a protein powerhouse which is going to come up, and that is nothing but it's called the entomorphagy. It is mealworm and insect farming. Well, this is going to be definitely a big hit in the market, as it can reduce lot of greenhouse emission, because to grow an insect or a bug, it is very easy because it doesn't require much of space. The farmland need not be so much. When you grow an animal, or when you cultivate in a land, you require so much of space. The greenhouse emission is so much that the pollution is coming. We require a lot of water, we require a lot of manpower, we require so much of space. But when it comes to this proteinous powerhouse, the mealworm or the insect farming, we require a very small space, and this is enriched and it is abundant with all the proteins. So you take up the maximum beef, like if you take up the beef has the maximum protein content, while the same meat, the yield what we get out of 1 kilo of meat, if you compare with the 1 kilo of insect farming, it is almost double the amount what we get. So much of nutrient, so much of protein is present in the insects. That's the mealworm and the but there are particular, it's not that all insect we can eat. There are certain insects, certain bugs which can be eaten. So this is already, it's not that it's not there in the market. There are some pollination nations which are already consuming this, but now they have found out that this is going to be the future of the protein. So a country like Israel has already started. In fact, I myself has done a lot of protein cookies which is made out of this mealworm, which comes in the form of a powder. The powder we used to import from Israel, it comes in a form of a tin in which there will be insect powder which is abundant with protein. So I have made cookies myself in this. So this is going to be a predominant staple food for the future. Well, the next thing is GMO. Of course, GMO even now it is there, but people take time to accept the GMO. But this genetically modified food in all terms. It is not just about the vegetables or greens or about animals. It is going to be in all the form. You must be recollecting that initially I told you, the kind of population growth what we are having. If you want to grow a tomato or a potato, it won't be sufficient with the present technology or with the present kind of whatever we are having. So they have to modify this genetically. See, the genetically modified one is nothing but it is the DNA. They take the DNA, they alter it, they increase the shelf life, they increase the color, they put the nutrients, the balanced nutrients, the taste, yield, even the non-allergic. So this all is done through the genetically modified the engineers, of course, they do all of this genetically modified food, wherein once it starts growing and the yield increases, as I told you, the color, the nutrient, the shelf life, everything is increasing. Like you take off a peanut is allergic to so many people. Now this GMO kind of peanut, it has all the nutrients and balanced, in fact, and the yield also will be more, and it's non-allergic. So this is how the genetic modification has been done, and the genetic engineers are working closely with chefs so that the taste doesn't differ. The people are set with a mindset with the taste, and when the genetically modified food comes out in the market, it should be in such a way that it doesn't alter the taste by any means. So definitely this GMO is going to take over the entire vegetables and fruits and liver stocks. Then only we will be able to feed the upcoming generations. Well, now the most important thing which is going to be predominant in the future is vitro meat. Well, you would have heard of recently in Singapore, there's a lab culture meat which the government has authorized. Yes, it's very true. When I took this topic to some of the students in few colleges, they were smiling at me. They were just making They didn't understand how this can happen. How can if I want to have a steak, I need to cut the animal, I need to butcher the animal to get the steak. It is no more required. Well, the stem culture technology, it is nothing but a lab grown meat. The stem culture technology takes the tissue of that particular part of the animal and grows in the lab, and the tissue starts growing, and the particular meat is finished in such a way so that you can have it as whatever you want. You want a leg, you can make it as a leg meat. You want as a undercut meat, you can make it as an undercut meat. You want a breast, you can make it the tissue is taken and cultured through the stem cell technology in laboratories, and it is incubated and it is grown, and it is, of course, when this started, it was very, very expensive because it required a lot of technology. But now the scientists are telling, now at present itself 80% of the cost is reduced, and Singapore is one country which has already approved for this kind of vitro meat, the stem cell culture lab meat in the market. Well, this is going to be a really, really boon for the future generation, because you may not require to butcher an animal to make a steak or to have a breast or to have a non-veg. And the best part is, it lowers the greenhouse emission by 75 to 85%. That is a huge reduction of the greenhouse gas emission. And the energy, we can, the land, 90% of land is less, 95% of water is not required, and a lot of this nations which are well developed already started working on this, and they started in fact producing it. And the first country is the Singapore, which has come with the meat, and they have started living out in the market, and I think very soon we can find in the entire world, and this is going to be a really, really staple food in the future. Well, this must be quite interesting, right? Well, the next one is, it is a 3D printed food. Well, you must be surprised. What is this 3D printed food? Yes, you would have heard IBM. IBM has a machine wherein we chefs have fed that machine with so much of recipes throughout the world. So it is a huge, like how we have this huge processors. So like that, the place will be made with huge processors wherein all the vegetables, fruits, everything will be kept in a simplified form. So if you want to eat a potato, a jacket potato you want to eat, or you want to eat a sweet corn, you can just type in the 3D printed sweet corn. It will just print and it will give in the form of a same sweet corn. And the best part is, in this 3D printer, it will be in its original shape. It will be the same the way how it looks, but only thing is, it is printed. It will be 3D printed. If it is round, a corn, how it is, it will be the same way it is, and the taste will be the same. But you have the advantage here. The thing is, you can add on the nutrients. Like you want to have a sweet corn with the taste of a chocolate, it's up to you. You can incorporate, okay, add chocolate to this in the machine, just incorporate, add chocolate to the sweet corn, it will add the chocolate. So you can eat a sweet corn with a flavor of chocolate. You want to have a tomato which tastes more like a grapes, you can have that. So this is how the 3D printer is already developed, and IBM is already working on this, and they have already demonstrated so many things. And the chefs, the future chefs who are upcoming, they need to really learn all these things what I have mentioned to you. Well, these are certain things which I want to mention to you, because the future, as I told you, the population is going to be so huge that as a chef, we must be able to transform ourselves, not just cooking within these four walls. All these techniques which is going to come in the future has to be learned. I already started working. In fact, I have done a lot of this molecular gastronomy, wherein I learned a lot of things, and I have started educating so many students. When I go to the colleges as guest lecturer, I do educate a lot of the students to spend more time on all this latest technologies which is going to come in the near future, and which are already existing in the world as well. So these are the things as a chef upcoming chefs, as a hoteliers, we have to learn. It is not just making food in the hotel and serving to the guests. This alone may not be sufficient henceforth. So we have to learn a lot of things. This whatever I mentioned is just few things. There are many more things which has to be learned, which is coming in the future, which I have already been working on this. So definitely I'm sure you all will be taking your time in spending all this upcoming trends and research yourself and come out in flying colors. All the best. Thank you.